Hello viewers. Today we are talking about the Airbus A320neo family. This is the first episode. If you want, you can watch another episode of Airbus A320. And please subscribe to our channel if you like this video, so let's go. The Airbus A320neo family develops the A320 family of narrow-body airliners produced by Airbus. The A320neo family is based on the previous A319, A320, and A321, renamed A320 Series, for the current engine option. Re-engined with CFM-LE EP01 or Pratt & Whitney PW1000G engines and fitted with sharklets as standard, it is 15% to 20% more fuel efficient than the A320 Series family. It was launched on the 1st of December 2010, made its first flight on the 25th of September 2014, and was introduced by Lufthansa on the 25th of January 2016. By 2019, the A320neo had a 60% market share against the competing Boeing 737 MAX. As of January 2022, a total of 7,859 A320neo family aircraft had been ordered by more than 115 airlines, of which 2,100 aircraft had been delivered. The global A320neo fleet had completed more than 4.7 million flights over 9.3 million block hours without accidents. Development of Airbus A320neo. In 2006 Airbus started the A320 Enhanced, or A320e program, as a series of improvements targeting a 4 to 5% efficiency gain with large winglets, aerodynamic refinements, weight savings, and a new aircraft cabin. At the time, Airbus sales chief John Leahy said, "Who's going to roll over a fleet to a new generation aircraft for 5% better than an A320 today? Especially if another 10% improvement might be coming in the second half of the next decade based on new engine technology." Airbus launched the Shark blended wingtip device during the November 2009 Dubai Airshow. The installation adds 200 kilograms, or 440 pounds, but offers a 3.5% fuel burn reduction on flights over 2,800 kilometers, or 1,500 nautical miles. New engine option of Airbus A320neo. Compared to the engine improvement of 15%, an all-new single-aisle would have brought only 3% more gain, while high-volume manufacturing in carbon fiber could be much more expensive. At the February 2010 Singapore Air Show, Airbus said its launch was scheduled for the July 2010 Farnborough Air Show. The decision had still not been taken by August, but the engine choice included the CFM International LEAP 1A and the Pratt & Whitney PW1000G, with 20% lower maintenance cost than current A320 engines. The new engines burn 16% less fuel, though the actual gain is slightly less as 1 to 2% is typically lost when installed on an existing aircraft. On the 1st of December 2010, Airbus launched the A320neo, new engine option, with 500 nautical miles, or 930 kilometers more range or 2-ton, or 4,400 pounds more payload, and planned to deliver 4,000 over 15 years. Airbus A320 predicted development costs to be slightly more than €1 billion, or $1.3 billion. The Neo list price would be $6 million more than the CEO, including $3.5 million for airframe modifications and around $0.9 million for the sharklets. The A320neo was slated for service entry in spring 2016, the A321neo 6 months later, and the A319neo 6 months after that. The 2010 order for 40 Bombardier CS300s, now known as Airbus A220-300, and 40 options from Republic Airways Holdings, the owner of exclusive A319-320th operator Frontier Airlines, pushed Airbus into the engine. Airbus coup, customer John Leahy decided against ignoring the C series and allowing it to grow, as Boeing had previously done with Airbus, and instead aggressively competed against Bombardier Aerospace. The introduction was then advanced to October 2015. Airbus claims a 15% fuel saving and over 95% airframe commonality with the current A320. Its commonality helped to reduce delays associated with significant changes. In March 2013, airlines' choices between the two engines were almost equal. The new SpaceFlex optional cabin configuration increases space efficiency with a new rear galley configuration and a smart lav modular lavatory design, allowing an in-flight change of 2 lavatories into one accessible toilet. The rearranged cabin allows up to 20 more passengers for the A321neo without putting more sardines in the can, with the larger cabin flex modified exits described below. Total fuel consumption per seat is reduced by over 20%, while the rearranged cabin allows up to 9 more passengers for the A320neo. The first Airbus A320neo rolled out of the Toulouse factory on the 1st of July 2014, and the first flight was scheduled for September 2014. Flight testing. The first flight of the Neo occurred on the 25th of September 2014. Its Pratt & Whitney PW1100GJM geared turbofan engine was certified by the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, on the 19th of December 2014. After 36 months, the A320neo and A321neo had flown around 4,000 hours to certify the two powerplant versions. This is about 3/4 of the certification effort of a new design. Of these 4,000 hours flown, 2,250 were with PWGTFs and 1,770 with CFM LEAPs. The flight test program was to conclude in 2018 with completing A319neo testing. The changes impact flying qualities, performance, and system integration. They entailed returning the fly-by-wire controls and meeting type certification requirements which have evolved since 1988, and help decrease the minimum V speeds. The Neo is 1.8 t heavier than the CEO. Still, takeoff and landing performance is the same with a modified rotation law, adjusted wing flap, and wing slat angles and rudder deflection increased by 5 degrees to cope with the higher thrust. The A320neo is half as loud as an A320 at takeoff, with an 85 decibel noise footprint. The LEAP-powered A321neo has 83.3 decibels flyover noise, substantially lower than the older CFM56 and V2500. 1. The first delivery slipped to early 2016. Lufthansa took delivery of the first A320neo on the 20th of January 2016. 200 deliveries were targeted in 2017, but as Pratt & Whitney faced ramp-up difficulties, Airbus expected that 30 aircraft would have to be parked awaiting engines. The fourth and latest final assembly line in Hamburg was to open in July 2017. 60 A320s should be produced monthly from 2019. With 90 A320neos delivered by October 2017, Airbus acknowledged that it would not attain the 200 targets, even with many deliveries in the fourth quarter. More than 40 A320neos were parked without engines, but with most of the engine issues resolved by early 2018, more than half of the A320s delivered in 2018 were expected to be Neos. Airbus expected to produce 60 narrow bodies per month by the middle of 2019 and studied higher rates. Airbus confirmed plans to reach 63 monthly from 55 in 2018 and study 70 to 75 months beyond 2019, though Safran, one of the two partners in LEAP producer CFM, could not commit to higher volumes. In February 2018, after in-flight failures of the PW1100G with its high-pressure compressor aft hub modified, apparently caused by problems with its knife-edge seal, European Aviation Safety Agency, or EASA, and Airbus grounded some A320neo family aircraft until Airbus fitted them with spares. As of February 2018, P&W engines had flown 500,000 hours since the introduction, and 8 customers operated 113 P&W powered A320neo family aircraft. Airbus then stopped accepting PW1100G engines. Deliveries of GTF-powered A320neos resumed in May after Pratt returned to the original design seal as a quick fix. By the end of June, Airbus expected to have around 100 A320neos awaiting engines and aimed to deliver most of them in the second half of the year, for a total of over 800 aircraft handed over in 2018. In the first 5 months of 2018, 69 had been delivered, 40% of all single aisles, and almost 80% with CFM LEAP engines, but the 22 delivered in May were equally split between the two power plants. After the 3-month halt, the goal of 210 GTF-powered deliveries in 2018 was expected to be missed by 30 to 40 unless Pratt could accelerate production, exposing itself and Airbus to late penalties. Airbus Co. Guillaume Faury aimed to do away with gliders, airframes without engines, by the end of 2018. Bernstein Research had forecast 50 fewer deliveries than planned and expected a return to normal by 2019. Delivery targets could still be met with other engine options, as 210 LEAP-powered jets were planned. After having peaked above 100, the number of aircraft parked awaiting their turbofans declined to 86 by the end of June. The 500th A320neo family aircraft was delivered in October 2018. In July 2019, with the A321neo accounting for 40% of sales, Airbus examined allocating more production capacity to the stretched variant. It acknowledged that ramping up production of the popular Airbus cabin flex configuration proved challenging. All A321s are currently assembled in Hamburg. One option under consideration would be repurpose the A380 assembly line in Toulouse. In the first half of 2019, Airbus delivered 294 A320, A320neo family aircraft, of which 71 were A321neos, and 163 were A320neos. In January 2020, Airbus confirmed that the A380 assembly line would be converted to a digitally enabled final assembly facility for the A321neo by mid-2022 because of unprecedented demand, particularly for the A321LR and XLR variants. In February, it indicated that it had a clear path to increasing production rates beyond the 63 per month targeted for 2021, to reach 65 or 67 by 2023. In April, Airbus reduced the average production rate to 40 per month due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on aviation. In February 2021, Airbus set up a separate production line in Hamburg for A321XLR aft fuselage work, in a facility formerly used to assemble the A380. The goal is to enable the production of the XLR-specific aft fuselage to ramp up gradually without affecting other A320neo family production output. Different A321XLR sections are to be produced at numerous sites: the center wing box at Airbus's Nantes facility, the rear center tank at Premium Aerotech in Augsburg, the nose and forward fuselage built at Stelia Aerospace in Toulouse, then assembled in Saint-Nazaire, and the wings at Airbus Broughton in cooperation with Spirit Aerosystems and FACC, which provide high-lift devices. In May 2021, Airbus targeted a production rate of 45 per month by the end of 2021, 64 by the second quarter of 2023, and asked its supply chain to allow 70 from the first quarter of 2024, looking for 75 by 2025. Replacement wing. In 2015, Airbus started a new wing project, announced as the Wing of the Future program in 2017. A further 1 to 2 billion carbon composite wing could be used in the A321neo++, compared to $15 billion for a completely new design. The new wing is made from composite material. It is first seen as an upgrade to the existing, primarily metal A320 family wing, which was already upgraded many times. Airbus already has composite branches on the A350, but this will be an enhanced, new design with highly automated manufacturing suitable for inexpensive high-volume production. Announced in January 2016, a €44.8 million facility was built in Filton, with 300 engineers. The new wing design and tests take place in this Filton facility. Other Airbus locations in the UK, France, Spain, and Germany work with 30 partners on this wing project. In May 2021, Airbus announced that the wing would be longer and thinner with folding wingtips to access existing airport gates for improved aerodynamic performance. By May 2021, the assembly of the first demonstrator was to start in the coming weeks, as the project should be completed by 2023 before an eventual product launch. A radical A320 makeover is expected to cost over €4 billion, or $4.9 billion, significantly less than the estimates of $15 billion to $20 billion for an all-new Boeing design. Due to the increased length and increased lift, the new wings could also be used on an Airbus A320, an A321 lengthened by 4 passenger seat rows, being studied by Airbus. The current A320neo family wingspan of 36 meters with an aspect ratio of 9 will be extended by ground folding wingtips to 45 meters with an aspect ratio of 14. Additional semi-aeroelastic hinges could lead to a 52 meters wingspan with an aspect ratio of 18, still fitting in a standard 36 meters airport gate. In September 2021, Airbus announced starting the assembly of in total 3 full-size Wing of Tomorrow prototypes. The first prototype was completed in December 2021. The flapping wing section flight tests are targeted to begin in late 2023. Replacement airliner. By November 2018, Airbus was hiring Toulouse and Madrid to develop a clean sheet successor for the A320. Although its launch was not guaranteed, it was expected to arrive from the middle of the following decade, after the A321XLR and a stretched A320neo Plus, and would have competed with the Boeing NMA was, at the time, expected to be launched as early as 2019. Service entry would be determined by ultra-high bypass ratio engine developments pursued by Pratt & Whitney, testing its geared turbofan upgrade, Safran, ground testing a demonstrator from 2021, and Rolls-Royce plc, targeting a 2025 ultrafine service entry. The production target is a monthly rate of 100 narrow bodies, up from 60. At the November 2019 Dubai Air Show, Airbus chief executive Guillaume Faury said the company was considering launching a single-aisle program in the second half of the 2020s to introduce in the early 2030s. This is all about today. Thank you for watching this video full. If you want, you can visit our channel and watch more videos. If you like this video, I will say again, subscribe to this channel.